Good morning or afternoon, and whatever time you are watching this quick tutorial about aligning your artifacts.
For Domain 1.
Domain 1. We're here at the Helen Cordero website, which is helencordero.aps.edu. Most of you know that. Going to resources, and there's teachers, parents, kids. We're already on teachers in case you're not. And scrolling down to teacher evaluation Oasis. And log in. And as you go down, you'll see Domain 1 artifacts and Domain 4 artifacts. If you have not already uploaded those artifacts, please either see your evaluator, or we will try to get a quick video regarding uploads. Those of you who have uploaded and have done your artifacts, we do need to align them. So down here where it says Action, click on that blue link.
Click Domain 1 though.
Domain 1. Thank you very much, Mr. Ruckman. Domain 1. And as you can see, I have a bunch of artifacts.
Already uploaded.
There we are. And let's look at the long-range lesson plan. That's something that I have that shows everything from August all the way through May. And we go to...
Click the pencil to align the artifact with the domain elements.
And that is your edit button. And here we see that I have described it as a 10-month plan for my school year 2016-2017. And from here, Mr. Ruckman will explain what we do next.
So the next thing you need to do is go to the area where it says choose a rubric, which is there, and then click on the down caret there, and those are the domain artifacts. They're NM Teach 1A through NM Teach 1F. Those are the domain elements for Domain 1. So looking at your lesson plan that you uploaded, you have to decide which of those domain elements your lesson plan corresponds to. So it could be more than one. So in this particular case, Celine, it aligns with all of them maybe?
More than likely, or if it's a photo, if it's not necessarily a lesson plan like this, and we'll do that with the next item. For example, if I've got a plan for 10 months, I need to have some knowledge of content. So there's knowledge of content, and then...
So then you're going to go click on choose a criteria, then right next to it on the right.
And it's basically the same thing.
Select that. And then click Add Criteria.
And then this little green plus sign will allow you to add it.
Presto, you're now aligned.
So there can also be additional alignments. So if I'm going to plan for 10 months, I definitely am designing a coherent instruction. Wouldn't you say that?
Mm-hmm.
And so then we would go to the second arrow, and then the plus sign. There it is again.
And then you do that. You look at all of the domain elements and see which of those correspond with your lesson plan.
I definitely see that as an outcome, because I've got to, if I'm going to design 10 months, I'm going to be setting my instructional outcomes. Boom. Let's see if any of these apply. Knowledge of, and then if you can't read that, you can see it open up right here to the side just by hovering. Knowledge, demonstrating knowledge of resources. Well, I suppose in that long-range plan you could indicate what resources you are using to implement those 10 months of instruction. And demonstrating knowledge of students. Well, of course you've got to know your students developmentally, where they are at the beginning of those 10 months and where they are at the end of those 10 months. And here's the last one. Notice that this changes to a 2. I didn't notice that until Mr. Ruckman pointed that out. So we don't need those, because those are domains 2, 3, etc. So here's the last one. And you may have your student assessment somewhere in that 10-month plan. So that would also fall under that category. Now from here we go to save, or what do we do next?
So assuming that those domain elements work for the lesson plan that you uploaded, or the artifact that you uploaded, then once you have the domain elements selected, then you just save.
Down here.
Down there.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. And presto, now you're done.
Okay, let's see. Here is a screenshot. I know a lot of you have photographs. So just see what this looks like really quick. I'm going to click on that photo, and I did a screenshot of Fast Forward, which all of us are doing, and it shows a student and their percentages, etc., etc. So I uploaded that screenshot, and I'm going to go to the pencil. As you can see over here, this was PDF, and this is a symbol of, so that you know exactly what kind of document or file was uploaded. So this was a screenshot or a photograph, and here's our pencil. And my description I put when I did this Fast Forward was, this is something that I use to help students move forward when their scores say that they're ready, as well as when the teachers can't figure out how to retrieve data. They usually call me or email me, and I go into this window. So I took a screenshot of the window that I use as a resource teacher and as teachers use when they are moving their child from one Fast Forward type of activity to another. So here I go. Let me see.
So does that artifact align with knowledge of content, designing coherent instruction, setting instructional outcomes, knowledge of resources, knowledge of students, designing student assessment? Which of those does it align with?
I would say it's not necessarily content, because everybody's content is individual on that. If you're going to teach a core group based on their scores, then that might be coherent instruction. But since I'm not doing small group instruction, for me as a resource teacher, I think it would be more for helping a teacher set their instructional outcomes.
Okay.
And then I would go here, same thing, and add. I also think it would be knowledge of resources, because Fast Forward is a resource. So that would definitely be demonstrating a knowledge of resource. Knowledge of student, well, yeah, because it's giving you a percentile. That student was 32% along in his Fast Forward progress. And of course it is an assessment when you see percentages like that. Now I'm not designing the assessment, but I'm helping look at it and help the teachers as well get their students moving along in that process. So I think those three align well with this particular artifact, and I will save that. And it goes on. There's the login cards that I made, and an instructional video which I've made for my students.
So my role as the evaluator, having to do this system from the other end, is that I look at the lesson plans that you uploaded. I look at how you align them, and that really informs me. It helps me to decide what your score is. The better, the more help that I have, the better, the more able I am to give somebody a good score, because it helps them to point out to me what the evidence is to justify that good score, because I have to justify good scores.
And that's what that is. This is basically documenting what you've done all year long to help our children in their learning and their growing. And every little thing helps, whether it's a photo, a lesson plan, a video, something that you feel that actually demonstrates what you do as a teacher.
So I would agree that uploading multiple artifacts is a lot better than uploading one lesson plan and then saying it aligns with domain elements 1A through 1F. That's not as helpful as having a bunch of different artifacts and then looking through each of them and saying this aligns specifically with domain 1C or with domain 1F, for example.
And here's
so multiple artifacts.
Here's some videos like we're doing right now. As a resource teacher, that is not only my job to work with the kids in the lab, but to provide training for teachers and help them out when they're stuck. So in this particular case, these are training videos that I did for students when I was teaching them how to use ST Math, how to use Fast Forward, and how to use iStation. Here's an example of the iStation training that I did. I just click on that link and my evaluator can easily go there, we hope. There we go. And it's there for the evaluator to see the time and the hours that it took me to prepare this lesson.
You are sitting on your bottom, your hands are in your lap, and your mouth is closed and your eyes are focused on the screen. This is a quick review. iStation, you should see this picture or icon on your computer.
So
You will
this
click on it.
This is actually a lesson I did with children, and I did several of these, and I put them together in a document. That document is uploaded right here where it says instruction video for students, and I have others for staff as well, and I believe that's domain 4. So this is one that I can align. I recorded my instruction. I was out for 2 months, and these videos helped the substitute as well. So if I look at the rubric, I've got to know my content when I'm presenting these lessons to the students. It is coherent instruction because I break it down into steps. I have the kids chant or use Kagan or other types of things when I do that lesson. If we would have had time to look at the entire video, that my evaluator can actually see my instructional strategies as I videotape myself teaching the children. Resources, not so much. Well, using a recording device is using resources. So if you're videotaping your instruction, then that would be using resources. Student knowledge, student assessment does not apply in this case. So I've got at least 4, and I will save. And how about that? Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I mean, you know, how you align it might be different from how the evaluator aligns it, but it
Right.
really helps to get your input for how you've aligned your lesson plans with your domain elements.
Right. How you see how I see how it fits might be different from my evaluators.
But having that explanation really helps me to make when I'm doing the evaluation of the domain 1.
Well,
And I definitely want people to have good scores.
yes, we do. And definitely, when we start next year, just keep a little file folder somewhere on your desktop or on your Dropbox, you know, somewhere where you can keep these photos and videos and other instructional materials that you prepare that we work so hard on at home and on weekends, etc., etc. Add those. Those are artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks
All right, very
again. And
Thanks, Celine.
thank you, Mr. Ruckman.